Alright everyone, welcome back to Trick and Treat. So, if you've been keeping up, we've achieved all 7 of the main endings. But now there is a hidden 8th ending. I had a feeling this would be the case, and just to be sure, I did check how we're supposed to get the hidden 8th ending. So this way I'm not bumbling around like a damn fool. So we're going to start a new game. And I'm hoping things are going to be the same. So we're going to skip ahead till we get to our first choice. Now our first choice, we are going to pick up the cat. And we are now going to escape from the cat. Okay, it is then that I notice a path I haven't seen before. Should I take this path? Well, the answer is yes. Yes, we should, because supposedly this is the new path to the new ending. I should face with courage whatever I could find there. 2:57 a.m. I don't know how long I've been running, but it's been some time since I last heard either the voice or the meows, much to my relief. I finally stopped, placing my hands on my knees, feeling that I am on the edge of fainting. I breathe through my mouth, trying to fill my lungs with as much air as I can, while my legs hurt as if they've been hammered mercilessly. This pain does not bother me because I'm finally safe, at least temporarily. Still lost in the dark forest, and surrounded by this rotten air, but I don't feel nearly as bad as before. I look down at the ground while trying to catch my breath. Damn, how can I get out of here? I asked, confused and frustrated. I felt really anguished. I closed my eyes and let out a long sigh. I have to calm myself. Easy, you can get out of this forest. Have a little rest, then continue walking. I gave myself a moment. I needed it. And I open my eyes, and at that moment I see there is something below me. I almost step on it. Because of the darkness and my desperation, I had not noticed it before. Confused, I note a small hand that comes out of the ground. Oh boy. It is a human hand, at least in form. Alright, with only a glimpse I could tell it was a toy made of metal. Without hesitation, I bend down and start to dig it out. Oh, slowly my hand moves away from the earth that hid a toy, only to discover that it was a figure of a knight. It's dirty, very worn down. Must be a very old toy. I raise the toy to my eyes, examining it carefully. Lillian? I read aloud what the toy had written on its back. It must be the name of the person whom it belonged to. I look at it carefully, trying to think who Lillian might be. But naturally the effort was just a waste of time. In the end, I have no other alternative than to continue walking in the dark. My break is over. Without delay, I move my feet and start to walk. This time there is no need to run. I don't know where I might end up, but I know that I don't want to be here. 3:17 a.m. What is this place? I ask myself when I arrive at a clearing in the forest. Only a few minutes since I found the toy have passed. There's something strange about this place. Not because it is dark and oppressive as the rest of the forest. It's actually the opposite. I find it nostalgic, for lack of a better word. The atmosphere here is pure and kind, as if it were a sanctuary from the darkness. I shake my head confused, but I don't give it any more thought. It may only be that I am too far away from that cat, and that's why the curse is weaker here. At least I can see the night sky. The full moon shines elegantly, surrounded by a blanket of darkness and stars. A beautiful image, but there is something strange about it. How weird. Wasn't there a half moon tonight? I said to myself as I look at the moon and try to remember a vague memory in my mind. Anyway, it's not important. The moon will not come to save me. I lower my sight. It was then that I noticed there was a cabin in the clearing. It was hidden under the shade of the trees nearby. That's why I didn't see it before, I think. The cabin looks old and worn down, even depressing, but if I'm lucky, there may be someone there. Alright, so this is getting to be a little more familiar, but we have that toy, so that's probably going to change things. I may not have managed to escape, but I could wait for the sun to rise in that cabin. I'm sure that when night ends, so will my concerns. Without wasting any more time, I decide to enter the cabin. I open the door slowly, observing that no one is waiting for me on the other side. Apparently it is empty. The atmosphere is quiet. It's a sad silence, as if the place had been forgotten by all. As soon as I put my feet into the cabin, curiosity takes control of me. An inexplicable desire to explore the place is born in me. After all, it seemed to be the most interesting thing I could do at the moment. Although I doubt it can beat the excitement of running for my life, thank God. Inside there's not much special. First thing I notice, it does not have many of the modern commodities, such as electricity, telephone, or water pipes. Everything is rustic. It seems the place was even older than it appears to be, as impressive as that sounds. In the living room there's a fireplace. With curiosity I look inside of it, but there is only ash. No one has used it in a long time. At the table I see there were 3 empty plates. It was as if the family that lived here was getting ready to eat, except there was no food for them. Then I decide to enter the rooms. The first one has a double bed. There's not much else there. I saw just a wardrobe and a chest of drawers made of wood, yet both were empty. If there were ever clothes in them, they must have disappeared with time. Then I go to the second room. In this, the bed is smaller. I guess only one person used it. First thing I notice is that there are toys on the floor. Figures made of wood, some marbles, and a rag doll. Whoever lives here, or better said lived here, did not seem to have great interest in order. However, I can't imagine that it is very important after all this time. My first impression is that the room belonged to a girl. At first sight, the room appears to have nothing special. But after checking the place better, I found a notebook. I observed the notebook with curiosity and opened it to the first page. Everything is fuzzy, but from what little I managed to understand, it seems to be a diary. All the pages are worn down, and the writing is so blurred I couldn't understand almost anything. I go through every page until I find a fragment that was strangely preserved. Today, Dad returned home with a toy. It was a knight in silver armor as in fairy tales. I can't even describe how happy I felt when I saw it. I immediately ran to him to give him a strong hug. The toy must have been expensive, but he said that the blacksmith owed him a favor. When I finished reading, I realized it was talking about the same toy that I have in my hands. "You must be Lillian," I said, speaking to the diary without waiting for an answer. Then my curiosity led me to check the other pages until again I found a legible fragment. It was right at the end of the diary, many pages away from the day in which she got this toy. Mom woke me up suddenly in the middle of the night. She and Dad seemed to be alerted. It's not like when they fight, but without doubt something happening to them. Mom told me to pack only what is necessary and prepare to leave. There is no time to even talk about it. Why do we have to leave? It's very late and I'm sleepy. I want to stay in bed. After that, the diary ends abruptly without having even scrolls on the other pages. It was abandoned as this house was without looking back. It sounds rather sad, but it seemed that they had an important reason to do so. It was then that I suddenly heard the sounds of footsteps inside the cabin. My heart freezes at that moment. I don't know why, but an incredible fear invades me. The room's door slowly begins to open, only to reveal the person behind it. Huh? Exclaimed a confused girl dressed in black, who looked more or less my age. She has an extraordinary beauty, with golden hair and blue eyes. She is surprised to see me, but not more than I was. Is it possible that there is another person caught in this cursed forest? Why are you here? The girl asked me, her blue eyes set their gaze on me. At first she does not seem angry, but later her expression becomes more aggressive. What were you doing? She narrows her eyes as if trying to look inside of me. Sorry, I saw this cabin and felt the urge to explore the inside. I responded immediately. I didn't think it would bother anyone. The cabin seemed abandoned long ago. I'm so nervous I start to sweat. After saying that, the room is surrounded by an awkward silence. The girl looks at me in silence for a few seconds before laughing. I see. You must be the knight who I was calling before, she said with a sweet smile. I blinked surprised. You were the voice that I heard inside of my head? It's hard to believe what I just heard. I remember that the voice was calling me to a place, but that evil cat would not let me pass. The girl laughed softly before nodding a couple of times. Yes, that was me. While speaking, she looks me in the eyes with tenderness. I feel something warm in my heart just from seeing that look of hers. I actually wanted you to come to this place. But I don't know why you started to run in the opposite direction. The girl looks a little sad after saying that. However, she quickly recovers her smile. That's why I went out looking for you. I would have never imagined that you would end up here. Me neither. I was just walking without knowing where I was going, looking for a way out of this forest. I replied sincerely. I guess I'm lucky, but there is something in her voice that I don't like. Anyway, if it comes from a girl so sweet, I should be good. At that moment, I noticed the girl never stopped staring at me. Her eyes contemplate me with so much adoration that I feel both flattered and uncomfortable. I take a step backwards because of my anxiety, but she instantly takes a step forward. Brave knight, here's something I need to ask you, the girl unexpectedly said. I don't know if that is an appropriate way of dressing me, but I cannot deny that I like it. What is it? I gulped shortly after asking. My heart beats fast. Then the girl goes one step further, and then another. She is now so close that I can smell her faint scent. It seems that she did not know the concept of personal space. It was then that I suddenly heard something hit the ground. The surprise makes us both silent. At that moment I realized something that should be in my hand is no longer there. Unwittingly I dropped the night toy. My anxiety made me clumsy. "That," said the girl after a short silence. The look in her eyes has changed completely. She's astonished. Suddenly something has stolen her breath. The blue eyes no longer concentrate on me, but look down at something that is on the floor. "Where did you find that?" the girl asked, astonished. I don't know how to react. I just silently bend down to pick up the toy. Then I offer it to her kindly. After hesitating for a moment, she almost snatches it from my hands. It seemed to be something very precious to her. "I found it buried in the forest," I reply kindly as I see how she embraces it, with such tenderness that makes me smile. "I guess you must be Lillian." She nods. "Yes, my name is Lillian." She then returns her gaze towards my face. Her eyes reflect a shy and pure kindness. "Thank you," she said timidly. "My name is Axel, and you don't have to thank me." Even if I couldn't escape, it seems that I would have some company. If all goes well, we'll only have to wait until the sun rises. I give one more look at Lillian. The first thing that is noticeable is her great beauty. But after seeing more carefully, I notice there is something more. Its presence is a little strange. She blinks after realizing I am looking at her. Immediately I avert my sight nervously, only to hear her laugh. "You're the girl who lived in this house, is that right?" I asked, steeling myself for what she was going to answer. "How is it that you're still in this place?" I gulp. "Perhaps you're some kind of ghost or something like that?" Lillian looks me in the eyes with tenderness. "Do I look anything like a scary ghost?" "You know, Maria said the same thing," she says playfully. I immediately reply saying no, with a shake of my head. "You're right, I lived in this cabin for a long time with my family, but that is now a thing of the past." "Could you tell me about that?" I asked, guided by my curiosity, without thinking that it might be something personal. Lillian closed her eyes and thought about it for a moment. "I could, but only if you promised to help me before listening to it," she said, looking at me later with puppy eyes, quietly begging for my approval. I cannot stop thinking that this girl is adorable, but something does not convince me. "Promise to help you?" I said without much energy. "Before promising that, I need to know what kind of help you want from me." My words are firm. I don't want her later to ask for my soul or to drink my blood. Lillian makes a childish and annoyed face for a couple of seconds. "I just want a bit of your energy, Knight. If you give it to me, then I will respond to all your questions." After saying that, she gives a tender look towards me. I do not understand what she means by energy. Not like I'm a battery. But I do have many questions that I would like to ask. I doubt for a moment before sighing with resignation. It seems there is no other way out. "Okay, but how will I do that?" I asked, looking at her confused. Lillian smiles, unexpectedly full of joy. "It's very easy. You just need to kiss me, Knight." She responded as if it wasn't anything special. Did I hear well? Kiss her? I lost my breath just from thinking about it. It seems like coming to this forest had been a good idea after all. I suddenly feel Lillian caressing my cheek with one hand. I turn to see her face, only to discover she is very close to me. Instantly I blush, but shortly after I notice something strange. Her body feels cold. I don't know how to explain it, but her presence is strangely faint. The texture of her skin is nice, but at the same time weak. Lillian smiles while she looks me in the eyes with a mischievous face. I must still reward you for giving me back my toy, she said gently while approaching her lips to mine, slowly savoring every moment. I couldn't do anything to stop her. Soon I feel her lips against mine. At that moment I feel as if I had been possessed. My desire takes control of my body, forcing me to kiss her passionately, as if we were lovers seeing each other after a very long time. I closed my eyes. I didn't need to see, just feel the love from her lips. Yep. However, the sweetness soon dies, being replaced with a stabbing pain, as if someone had stabbed needles of ice along my back. Without thinking, I break the kiss and move away from her. What did you do? I asked, giving an astonished look at Lillian. What was happening to me? I feel cold, as if she had stolen half of the heat from my body. I also feel heavy. You don't need to fear. I just took a portion of your energy as we agreed, answered Lillian, looking at me with puppy eyes that begged me not to get angry with her. Don't worry, you'll soon feel better, she added shortly after. I became silent just from seeing her. I could not be angry with someone like her. Then I sighed, leaving my anger and concerns with my breath. Soon after that, I noticed that Lillian does nothing more than look at me tenderly, waiting for me to say something. It was then that I realized something. Suddenly, the presence of Lillian becomes heavier. Huh? I exclaimed with curiosity. Before, she felt almost transparent, but now I see her with solid colors. As if before she was just a reflection, and now she was real. Did you notice my knight? She asked, full of joy. Thanks to you, I can now materialize myself completely. Before, my presence was partial, dim, but now I have more power thanks to you, Lillian explained, giving me a smile. Now I understand why she wanted my help. But after hearing that, one thing is clear to me. She is not human. With that, do you have everything you wanted? I asked, a little disgusted. Can't say that I'm happy after the kiss. I still have some difficulty standing. Lillian responds with a nod. Yes, I will now respond to your questions, kind knight. Her words are honest, just like the sweet look in her eyes. Now it seems that I can trust her. After looking at her for a moment, my lips finally move. What are you exactly, Lillian? Was my first question. No doubt it must sound strange, but there is something here that does not make sense. Are you really not a ghost? Or perhaps you're a witch? Lillian stares carefully at me before laughing softly, closing her eyes a moment. Then she looks directly into my eyes. You got one of them right, my knight. She pauses. I really am a spirit, but before I was a witch who lived in this place. A spirit? I asked, confused. How is that any different from a ghost? To me it sounded like the same thing. But then I see Lillian shaking her head in denial. She then looks me straight in the eyes. A ghost is someone who died and which, by some force, it remains in the world. A spirit, on the other hand, is a different entity. They have a much more powerful presence and do not necessarily come from a dead person. Could you explain it simpler? I asked, completely lost. Axel, I understand it completely. Why are you having trouble? I guess she knew how to differentiate them. All this was completely new for me. Lillian then laughed sweetly as if my confusion was adorable. A ghost is someone who died, but their soul stayed on Earth. A spirit is a supernatural entity that does not need to come from a living being. An example would be the fairies or the spirits of the forest. That was much clearer. I silently take a moment to connect the dots. I exclaimed thoughtfully before looking back at her beautiful face. Her blue eyes patiently wait for me to say something. So you mean you were a witch before, but somehow ended up becoming a spirit of the forest? I asked quizzically. After hearing me, Lillian nods and then gives me a smile. That's right. I was a young witch who lived in this cabin with my parents. But unfortunately, Lillian stopped suddenly. For a moment, the expression on her face seems to be full of hatred. But 1 instant later, she is back to normal. Must have been an error of mine. But something happened, and after death I ended up becoming a spirit, added Lillian soon after, giving more light to the situation. This is a lot of extra backstory just for finding a Silver Knight toy. And I'm kind of surprised that Ashley hasn't interrupted us yet. When she said the last word, she gave me a sweet small smile, looking at me with pure innocence. I understand, I murmured. However, there was still something important I wanted to know. My eyes then set on Lillian. Why were you calling me before, Lillian? I asked with a sharp look on my eyes, as if I tried to see inside of her soul. She gazes at me with tenderness. Because I needed your help, kind knight. But also to protect you. Hearing her say that surprises me. But she doesn't seem to be lying. I think you've seen it, the evil cat that lives in this forest. She is an evil spirit. The image of the cat flashes in my mind at that moment. She's right. It was because of that cat that I ended up in this place. Surely the cat is the one who created this rotten and sinister atmosphere. Before I was a happy spirit of this forest. The joy that surrounded me gave me the energy that fed me. But since that cat appeared, nobody has come. That's why I couldn't keep my material form and had to steal your energy. I see. It's all the fault of that cat. So, now in this playthrough, we don't know that the cat is Ashley yet. I said with a better idea of the situation. Finally, there's only one last thing I'm curious about. Lillian, do you know something about the disappearance of the 5 men which took place in this forest? Lillian seems surprised by my question, but she quickly regains her composure. With a fragile look in her eyes, she nods twice. Yes, they're dead. The cat stole their vital energy, killing them. That's how she acquires more power. Wait, isn't that the same thing you did with me? I asked, confused. Lillian immediately shakes her hands while showing me the palms. In a shy gesture that said I was wrong. It's very different. She didn't stop and ended up taking all life from them. I wouldn't kill such a kind knight like you, who voluntarily came to give me something so precious, explained Lillian. But basically they had the same power but different intentions. I understand, I said, thinking about it for a moment with my sight down. Then I returned my eyes to Lillian. I still have one doubt left. Why have all the disappearances occurred on Halloween? Because it's the only night in which we can materialize, answered Lillian quickly, speaking with perfect calmness as if it were something ordinary. Fortunately, my look of confusion seemed enough to tell her that I didn't understand well what she meant. During the night of Halloween, magic becomes more powerful. All the other days, I am only an invisible being that cannot do more than observe the forest. But on the night of Halloween, I am able to show my presence, and I appear. You're trying to say that during the other days you don't have any powers? I asked curiously. That would explain well what was happening. I guess it would be the same case for the cat, only in this night she can be dangerous. Lillian nods. Yes, that's right, brave knight. The look in her eyes is sincere. I see. Thank you very much. That was everything I wanted to know. I never thought that I would say something like this on this night, but her answers had been of great help. I finally felt more confident and not as lost as before. Now the only thing left was to wait for the sunrise in this cabin. Fortunately, the atmosphere here seems more friendly and calm. Once the sun rises, I could escape without problems. I would have survived the wickedness of that cat. Lost in thought, when suddenly I noticed the look Lillian had upon me. Her eyes tell me she wanted to ask me something else. Is something wrong, Lillian? I asked, not knowing what to expect. Lillian instantly responds with a nod. Kind knight, now that you know the truth, there is a special mission in which I need your help. I want you to help me defeat the cat and break this curse. Her words leave me at a loss for breath. Defeat her? But what could I do against that cursed cat? I'm just a normal person. Without a doubt, I'd like to put an end to the curse, but I can't take impossible tasks. After hearing me, Lillian's eyes light up with hope. You don't have to fear, knight. You're much stronger than you look. You have a large amount of magical energy sleeping within you. Lillian pauses. You will also have my support. Lillian then gets closer to me. Having her so close makes me nervous. I hope she doesn't want more energy, although I wouldn't complain if she wants another kiss. Do you really need my help, Lillian? It sounded too dangerous. I would prefer not to be in a fight. She nods before looking at me with pleading eyes, silently begging me for help. Yes, it's necessary. The cat and I have very evenly matched powers. But your present knight, that could give me the victory. There is nothing but tenderness in her blue eyes. It's hard to say no to a look like that. My heart beats fast with anxiety. Honestly, I do not want to meddle between them. But if what she says is true, then I can make a difference and put an end to this curse once and for all. Then I have to do it. Okay, I'll help you kill the cat and end the curse. I said, full of determination. It's hard to believe the words came out of my mouth. There are times when we have to be strong. I cannot forget that she's killed innocents before. Lillian seemed surprised to hear me say that. No, she suddenly said. Don't kill her. After saying that, she stays silent. She seems scared. I look at her without understanding what is wrong. If you kill her, she'll later be incarnated as a more evil and more powerful being. This is the first time that I've seen Lillian this worried. No doubt it's something serious. Knight, please trust me. The best thing we can do is capture her. That is precisely the mission I had for you. Capture her? I repeat, confused, staring into her eyes. Lillian nods. Yes. If you see that she tries to take her own life, you must stop her. Just hold her for a few seconds. That'll be enough for me to imprison her. Lillian explains, looking at me again with puppy eyes. How am I supposed to do that? I ask, not fully convinced of this plan. My reflexes are not better than a cat for sure. I'll use my magic to strengthen your body. As soon as the combat starts, she will place all her attention on me. So that when you see when she's about to take her life, you must move as fast as you can and hold her, brave knight. Lillian said, placing all of her trust in me. Okay, I understand. I answered, full of determination. This was our plan of counterattack. my help, this long curse would finally break. Very well, you can count on me, Lillian. After hearing me, Lillian is filled with joy. She closes her eyes for a moment, but when she opens them, she gives me a look filled with love along with a radiant smile. For a second, I feel as if we've been in love for years, something beautiful but false. More than saying that I would help her, it seemed like I was making a bigger commitment, and therefore a more cherished one, as if I had promised that I would always be her ally. In any case, I was happy to see her so happy. She must have been alone for a long time. However, suddenly her expression changes. From one second to the next, Lillian gives an expression of anguish. Something was bothering her. The cat approaches. Soon she will be here. Hearing her say that made my heart skip a beat. Anxiety grows in me. Apparently, Lillian noted it because she unexpectedly gave me a sweet smile. Fear not, gentle knight, she said tenderly before making a more serious face. Quickly, give me a kiss so I can strengthen your body. A kiss? I'm not able to finish my sentence before Lillian, impatient, planted a new kiss on my lips. Soft, pleasant, delicious. Kissing her is a wonderful feeling that makes my heart beat faster. This time I do not feel weaker, all the opposite. Her kiss fills me with energy and power. Lillian's kiss would be the best way to wake up every day. Better than coffee or a sudden cold shower, I thought, joking with myself. However, before we finish our kiss, suddenly something attacks us, with such power that it destroys part of the cabin, opening a large hole that connects to the outside. I can't even begin to imagine what did that. It was like seeing a wrecking ball doing its job. The blow was sufficiently strong enough to push me away from Lillian. She seems equally surprised as me. I immediately get up and look for the culprit.